Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Kara Stern. I'm a career educator. I'm working as the resident educator at Smore. And we're excited to bring you a new PD series for the over zoomed. Think of it as snack size PD. And our topic for today is building student relationships. And my guest is Will Pulgarin. Bill's the middle school principal at the Columbus School in Medellin, Colombia, and he's from Southern California, right?
Mhm.
And Will's had an extensive career as a secondary educator with a focus on the teaching of history. He's got two master's degree and he's working on his doctorate. Good,
Yeah.
good luck. And I've had the great privilege to watch Will this past school year, leading a remote advisory group of sixth graders. And I've been struck by his connection to his students. So thank you for joining me, Will.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you for inviting me on.
My pleasure. And so, just to be as efficient as possible for anyone who's watching, let's get right to it. So,
Yeah.
in your advisory classes, which are remote, you talk about a variety of sensitive subjects with your students. So, what actions have you taken to build that trust with them?
Yeah. That's an excellent question. I think in the classroom, for me, it was always natural to just connect with students and the small little things like standing at the door, greeting them, being able to see them when they're eating lunch and all these things. And so when all those things were lost, we really had to reinvent, or especially I had to reinvent how do you connect with kids online. And surprisingly, it seems like a lot of the things that work at school work online as well. Kid, you can still talk to students about those little conversations, about what their interests are, what they do, and you create those moments in a classroom where you get to share things about yourself as well. Like I've been sharing things about myself, and sometimes you show vulnerability with the kids, just about, hey guys, I know this isn't easy, but we're all in this together, and let me tell you how I've been trying to do my best here, and all those little things amounted to like a building of community in the online classroom. Now I've now, Karen, now I have had the unique opportunity of like I built it online and now I went on site, and it is transferable. I the kids like, they're like, hey, Mr. Pugliarin, like you're here, all the community we built online was able to be transferred to the school site. So it tells me like human connections are possible online. Human connections will transfer over, and all that creates the ability to talk about these tough issues that teachers sometimes have to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's amazing. So, as you've worked on this sort of transference of a school skill set to online, have there been particular tools or resources that you've used that have helped you to build connections?
Yeah. So the first thing is, one, you have to be intentional about building that time in your classroom. It's not going to happen. I know that I have 65-minute block with my kids, and I say, well, I can't set up apart 5 minutes to do something different than educational. But actually, you can't afford not to, because uh, whatever investment you make there will pay dividends as you connect with your kids. So I'll give you an example. One of the things we've been doing a lot is temperature checks with the kids. Something simple, and I just want to give you like, I really like, Carol, what you said, like a snack size PD,
Mhm.
where we've just been, and I'll share this with you so you can share it with the viewers as well. Just check-ins, and we would put different pictures, and we say, okay, which picture would you associate the most with today? What color would you associate the most with today? And believe it or not, kids like, hey, I feel blue, I feel red, or I associate with this kind of animal today, and why? And it creates like this atmosphere, like, hey, you care enough to ask me about how I'm feeling. So before we get started, I'm not just jumping in. And all those little things, just those little check-ins, pay dividends. And I'll share that, and you can share that. Anybody can use them, super easy. And to plug in Field Trip, the Smore tool, it's super easy to use it there. I've been using it on there as well.
I gotta tell you, Will, all the classes of yours that I've watched, I always want to answer those questions. It's always my impulse. Um, all right, so here's my last question for you. If a faculty member reached out to you and said, like, there's just this one kid that I cannot reach, um, and I know it's a really challenging time, so it's doubly important for me to reach them. What advice would you give?
That's another great question. And we've had that issue where the limitations of Zoom and distance learning really come to a head when we have that one really challenging student that it's not connecting, we don't have that human connection with them. And it's been tough. And I want to kind of talk to the teacher in this part of the question instead of specific things that we do for the student. The teacher has to kind of take a step back and understand that we are in an unprecedented situation. And as much as we want to try to reach every kid, there's limitations in distance learning that don't allow us to do that, like we would be able to do it in school. So I want to go back to this word grace, and for the teacher to give yourself grace that you're doing everything that you can to reach this kid. Don't bring yourself down so much where you say, well, what else can we do, because there is limitations to this. And I know that's really hard for an educator, Kara. I know, to just say, like, this is the best that we can do right now, and still it's not working. And so I know that's hard for some teachers, but I also found that you have to have grace with yourself. You're doing the best that you can with the situation that you can. You do have those students that are hard to reach. Don't give up on them. I mean, we still try. We have meetings. We keep going and meeting with them. And if you can talk to them one-on-one through Zoom, if you can get them somehow on campus just to make that connection in a safe manner with the biosecurity protocols, that pays dividends as well. But I think I want to speak to the teacher there, because I think for some educators it's really tough to admit that this is all I can do right now, and it might not be enough. And
I think
yeah,
that is really important advice, really meaningful advice. And I think, especially in this past year, there's a sense on the part of teachers that like nothing we do is enough.
yeah,
So
and
to be able to say, like we can't do everything, and it's okay to say, like, I've done all I can.
that's it. And I've never left an online class and felt the same sort of feeling when I was in school. Like, I never just turn off the Zoom and, oh, that was the greatest lesson ever. I always feel this kind of like, that was as good as I could do with this tool. And for some teachers, that sense of never getting that satisfaction, it wears on you.
Yeah.
And that's where grace comes in, and you have to be kind of nice, gentle on yourself, that you're doing the best that you can given the situation.
Yeah. So, well, the truth is, I could talk to you all day, but since the idea is to be as efficient as possible, those were three perfect, important answers to the question. So I'm so appreciative. Thank you. Thank you to anyone who watches us.
Yes, thank you.
Again, and stay safe out there, and good teaching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.